You're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show.
The view from our side of the cockpit door.
WAPG. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Airline Pilot Guy episode 750.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy.
Hello, you're listening to the Airline Pilot Guy Show, the view from our side of the cockpit door. With your host, Captain Jeff, broadcasting live from APG headquarters in Roswell, Georgia. Today's show is recorded the week of July 6th, 2026.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the Airline Pilot Guy. Picture light and he's flying by. With the Airline Pilot Guy.
In today's episode, 4 weeks after a skydiving plane in Missouri crashed, the NTSB says there was no problem with the plane before takeoff. And British regulators say a local flight ran off the end of a runway because it touched down a considerable distance from the landing zone. Also ahead, more news and your feedback. So get all settled in. Tray tables and seat backs in the upright and lock positions. Electronic devices powered on. I'm Radio Roger, and Flight 715 is ready for pushback.
Thank you, Radio Roger. He is an award-winning TV and radio reporter, currently at the number one all-news station in the nation, 1010 Wins on 92.3 FM in
New York City.
Welcome to the Airline Pilot Guy Show. It's an an aviation podcast where we talk about aviation news and we answer your great feedback. I'm Captain Jeff, a former U.S. Air Force pilot and retired Delta Airlines captain. And joining me again from across the pond in his Garden View studio, not in Kakalaki.
In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a retired professional dog photographer, former RAF, RAAF fighter pilot, retired Airbus A330, A340 captain for Virgin Atlantic Airways. It's Captain Nick.
Hi there, Jeff. I've often wondered what happens when 1010 doesn't win.
It's a sad situation.
It must be very sad. Okay, APG 715. Now, on the 3rd of May 2009, during an open day fast taxi run, X-Ray Mike 715, an ex-RAF Victor V bomber, it was housed at Bruntingthorpe Airfield, where they used to have a lot of historic aircraft. So they were doing this fast taxi run down the runway, and the aircraft unexpectedly lifted off the runway. Now, apparently, this is what the captain said. I haven't heard just what the co-pilot said. The captain said the co-pilot failed to respond to his command to pull back the throttles, causing the massive bomber to accelerate past its intended maximum speed of 100 knots. Now, former RAF pilot Bill Ramsey kept the aircraft at around 20 to 30 feet in the air for a harrowing 9 seconds. I'm not quite sure why it was so long. And then he took control of the throttles himself, safely touching down just before the end of the runway. Of course, the Civil Aviation Authority were very upset because the aircraft was not airworthy to fly. However, said that, they got away with it. So, all's well that ends well. It must have been a good show for the people watching.
Wow.
Wow. That's a little scary.
Very.
Very. Yes.
Okay, very good.
Too bad Neil Lamorne isn't here, because he used to do a lot of work at Bruntingthorpe, I believe.
Oh, indeed. Yes, he would have known all about that.
Yeah.
All right. And the other voice you hear, of course, is our producer. From her studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, retired financier and aviation enthusiast, spreadsheet master, and our producer. It's the lovely Liz Piper.
Here I am. Hi, everybody.
Hi, Liz.
Thanks for joining us early on Friday. Nice early show for Captain Nick. Yay!
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we had to switch from yesterday to today, mainly because I had an obligation that I couldn't get out of. So, and because of that, only Captain Nick and Liz were able to make this time slot today.
It's the gray-haired group today.
Yeah, the old folk. The old
Well, it's
folks
the end
home.
of a long working week, except I'm retired and not working, so
I know,
that's
but
tough, isn't it?
funny how that
I wanted to
works.
show you guys. By the way, me and Maren, I did get the photo on Messengers. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers.
All right, bye. Okay, let's do some news.
Stand by for news.
All right, we're going to start off with this preliminary report regarding the skydiving plane crash in Missouri. The key takeaways from this prelim are, and this is from the news sources from KSL.com. So I guess that would be St. Louis.
I think so.
yeah.
I think it's the news.
Okay, the NTSB report found no signs of engine failure before the Missouri skydiving crash. That's interesting. When we were discussing this on an earlier show, Steph had kind of indicated in her skydiving community they were talking about an engine failure, and everything seemed to be kind of pointing toward that. But now they're saying, no, engine was working just fine. The June 14 crash killed 12, including experienced jumpers near Kansas City. The FAA is considering safety improvements. Skydive Kansas City met safety standards. Okay. Yeah, so as I said, the prelim did not flag any serious safety failures that could have led to the fiery crash of a plane last month. Let's see, they are... They found no indication of any pre-crash mechanical malfunctions or failures in the engine. Okay, we just talked about that. The federal agency also said a post-accident sample from the fuel truck found that the fuel was free of sediment and debris. And a review of the skydiving business operator software showed that the airplane had met the weight and balance limitations for the flight. The airplane was not equipped with a crash-worthy voice or data recorder like those that record flight data on commercial planes, nor was it required to be, the investigators said. The NTSB report did note, however, that its investigators had recovered damaged GoPro cameras from the wreckage. And that's going to be helpful, I think. Let's see. There's a picture that Liz is showing from the preliminary report. Some witness had taken the picture of the skydiving aircraft, which is, what was it, a PAC 750 or something like that, Pacific Aerospace 750 XL. And we see it shortly after it lifted off from takeoff, not too high off the ground, and it is in a almost 90-degree left turn, appears. Which is not optimal, that low to the ground, and shortly after takeoff. So I think Juan Brown on his Blanc Lirio channel put out something regarding this preliminary report and mentioned that there's some thoughts that there may have been some kind of a control malfunction, a loss of control due to controls not working the way they're supposed to. So that's, again, all speculation at this point.
What was this picture depicting, Jeff?
This picture, Liz, that we're showing on the video is, and will be in the show notes, by the way, and just a reminder to everyone, somewhere, wherever you're listening or whatever your software that you're using to listen to the show, unless it's one of the streamers like Spotify or something. Well, even then, there's a link that you can find the show notes, and you'll see some of these images that we're talking about. The image here is a whiteboard, and I believe it's showing wind speeds and directions for different altitudes that the pilot researched and posted on the morning of the accident, located in the operator's building at Butler, the place where the operation took place. Yeah, so it was showing, I think, the point of this probably showing that, that was fully researched, this flight. It wasn't, haphazard, kind of like just everybody jump in and let's go and dump you guys out. It was, you can see, meticulously planned.
The report says it found no indication of any pre-crash mechanical malfunctions or failures in the engine that would have prevented normal operations. These kind of incidents that occur close to the ground, I would immediately be asking, if there isn't an engine malfunction, what was his speed? That's a piece of information I would love to know, because we all know that you can let the speed drop, and you might get a wing drop in a incipient or full stall, and normally there'd be enough height to pick that up, except when you're just in the post-takeoff region, when you're too close to the ground. And the only thing I can consider that would cause that amount of bank close to the ground would be the fact that that wing had stalled the left, and it had rolled left in a stall, and we all know what happens. The nose starts to drop, and there you go. You unless you can unload the aircraft and get the wings level and pull out, the result is kind of inevitable. So that would indicate to me that it might have just been a fact that the speed got too low at that point in the flight.
Well, it's interesting. You kind of were quoting that sentence from the NTSB prelim report, and the way that you read it was different than the way I read it. And it's the same words. So that they found no indication of any pre-crash mechanical malfunctions or failures in the engine. So I could see how you read it, like no pre-crash mechanical malfunctions, comma, or failures in the engine. That would have, like, as two separate things. I kind of read it as malfunctions or failures in the engine. So I don't know.
Okay, I can see why you'd do that too, because if it's a little ambiguous.
It is ambiguous for sure.
It's so tragic, isn't it? Because these people are out for a great day and just going up for a jump, and all of a sudden it's wiped out. All these people and their families must be having the most awful time.
Because they're watching the whole thing happen. Very sad.
Definitely not good.
Nope. Okay.
To wait for the final.
Yeah, we'll continue to watch for the final report and see what they determine.
Speaking of final reports,
we have this from the Aviation Herald. This is an incident involving a Luxwing de Havilland -8 400 on behalf of, you're going to have to help me with this one, Liz.
Origny, I think.
Origny Air Services. Okay, sure. Registration 9 Hotel Lima Whiskey Bravo, performing flight 609 from London Gatwick to Guernsey with 63 passengers, 5 crew, landed on Guernsey's runway 27, but overran the end of the runway. And this is at 6:43 p.m. local time, came to a stop on soft ground about 30 meters, 100 feet past the end of the runway. There were no injuries and no visible sign of damage. No visible damage to the aircraft. Now I got it right. On July 2nd, 2026, which is just a little over a week ago, the AAIB, Air Accidents Investigation Branch, released their final report, concluding that the probable causes of the serious incident were: the runway excursion occurred because the commander, while trying to perform a gentle landing, touched down a considerable distance beyond the landing zone with insufficient runway left to arrest the aircraft using normal braking. The application of full braking force was too late to prevent a low-speed departure from the runway. More proactive exploitation of FDM data may have detected how the flights were being conducted in the early stages of the contract, as there was evidence available of previous landings beyond the touchdown zone. In response to the serious incident, both the lessee and the lessor identified and made changes to their safety management systems. Okay. Both the available flight data and CCTV, closed-circuit TV camera or footage, demonstrated that the aircraft was floating down the runway for an extended period of time before touching down. The aircraft was flown below 10 feet above the runway surface for some 10 seconds without reducing below the approach speed, VAPP, during which time it consumed nearly half of the landing distance available. The reason given for this was that the commander, as a handling pilot, wanted a gentle touchdown. All 3 pilots occupying the flight deck stated that the runway slope had contributed to a lack of visual perspective, meaning that none of them was aware how far down the runway the aircraft had traveled by the time it did finally touch down. They would, however, have been aware of the prolonged period of time that the aircraft had been over the runway in excess of what would have been considered normal. Equally, all three of the pilots would have known the relatively short landing distance available, not least because this was the reason given for the commander choosing to be the handling pilot. Under the circumstances, having overshot the touchdown zone on a relatively short runway, a go-around would have been expected. Oh, wait a minute. I got to get the go-around, right? Come on.
That would be a good thing.
Where are you there, go-around? I see going green, but that's not it. How about, let me try this.
You could press it anyway.
Here we go.
Yes. I just guessed. Option G.
Well done.
Come down. Yeah. Don't wait until you're floating down at 10 feet for 10 seconds on a short runway.
10 seconds is a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. And, Captain Nick, I think one of the things that pilots pride themselves most on a flight, and kind of the highlight of the flight, or it could be the opposite, is the landing, the touchdown. We all try to like roll that thing on and make it just so like, wait, are we on the ground? Are we on the runway?
You did?
I think we are.
I never did that.
Sure.
I just slammed it on like I didn't care.
I know that you're
Let's
lying.
go to the bar.
You're lying.
I wanted a beer.
Yeah. But you have to take a lot of things in consideration. Like if it's a very long runway, then you have the luxury, sort of, to, maybe extend that touchdown zone a little bit to try to get a nice landing. Although we do have requirements. In general terms, I don't know if this is true for everyone, but at my company, it was, touchdown in the first third of the available landing distance or 3,000 feet, whichever is less. So if it's a short runway, for instance, a 6,000 foot runway, then, you have from 0 to 2,000 feet, not 3,000 feet. But if you have a typical air carrier landing runway at these bigger airports, a 9,000 foot or longer runway is pretty standard, I'd say.
IAL has a comment for Captain Nick.
Oh, IAL says...
Like a true Phantom pilot, indeed.
Like a true Phantom pilot, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Nick, what do you think?
I'm going to be a bit ruder.
Okay.
Because the turnoff that they take... Now, I haven't seen a map of the airport. I don't know if there was a taxiway before the end of the runway, but I think I can see that there is a turnoff right at the end of the runway. So, and they apparently were... what was the word you used when they said they examined their touchdown positions in the past, and they did go beyond the touchdown zone? What was the phrase you...
let's see.
There was evidence available of previous landings beyond the touchdown zone. So I'm just wondering if because this guy was a senior management pilot, I think. He was quite senior in the company.
There's the problem.
And I'm just wondering if he's got an ulterior motive to get his aircraft parked, get the passengers off, get the next load on, get the airplane going. Let's get, make up some shortfall of time. Let's get everything going. He was in the habit, perhaps, I'm only asking, I'm wondering, of landing a bit deep so that he wouldn't have to taxi all the way to the end of the runway and exit the runway. Now, I might be proved wrong because there might well be a mid-position turnoff, but I'm just wondering if he held it off just to scoot down the runway a bit and then landed and didn't realize he'd overdone it until it was all too late, because he didn't put the props into reverse for some reason. I don't know why, because normally, eventually he braked very hard. Well, I think it was obvious he was going off the end.
Yeah, and as I said, too late.
Yeah. He had lots of options. He could have landed in the right place, and he could have put the props in reverse, and it might have taken him an extra 60 seconds to trundle down to the end of the runway and get clear. But I'm just wondering if he got into the habit of going, well, I'll just land a little deep, then I'll save that 60 seconds. I don't know. I might be doing the guy a big what's the word I'm looking for, Liz?
Injustice.
Injustice, thank you.
There is a taxiway, I believe, mid-runway, like before that end of the runway one.
Is there?
Yeah.
Liz thinks there is a taxiway, in which case I'm not on such safe ground. Neither was he. But having said that, they when they realised, or when they did go off, he then made 2 attempts to taxi the aircraft out of the soft ground and get back onto the taxiway, and presumably to complete the flight, taxi back in. And I'm going, was that really a wise thing to do? So I'm just questioning some of the judgment calls here. Mm-hmm. I don't think on the surface, it might be that he just misjudged the landing and he was being overzealous trying to get a nice smooth landing, but I'm not sure that holds a lot of water for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, they effed up.
Yeah, they did criticize him for that, by the way, because they said, when you've gone off the runway, you really don't know what sort of condition your undercarriage is in. And trying to taxi the aircraft after it's come to a halt is not a wise thing to do, and I happen to agree with them.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So don't do that.
Yeah, don't. As our producer says in the back channel, don't do that. Just don't do
definitely.
that. Okay. Good advice, Liz.
Yeah.
All right. This next item is, well, let's see. It involves a video. We have a little video clip, but we also have a clip source of Aerospace globalnews.com, and it has to do with an Indian Air Force an Antonov AN-32 crash, and the headline says, puts aging workhorse in focus. Okay. Yeah, I see the picture included. It's pretty in focus. 2 days after an Indian Air Force Antonov AN-32 transport aircraft crashed while landing at Jorhat in Assam, investigators are continuing efforts to determine what caused the fatal accident that claimed the lives of 5 personnel. The aircraft crashed around 10 o'clock in the morning local time on June 13 during what the Air Force described as a routine sortie. 1 person survived the accident and is receiving medical treatment. While the investigation remains in its early stages, the crash has once again drawn attention to one of the oldest and most heavily used aircraft in the Indian Air Force inventory. The AN-32 has served for more than 4 decades and remains central to Indian military logistics across some of the country's most challenging terrain. It is also an aircraft whose replacement has been discussed for years but not yet delivered. Let's take a look at the video. Oh. Okay, we're seeing the airplane touch down. Looks pretty normal at this point. And nose wheels coming down.
Yeah, I was expecting to see something go wrong with the left main gear.
And then it's veering off to the left of the runway pretty significantly. And then it hits some items over there on the unprepared. And then it just goes nose over and very violently. Yeah.
So I couldn't see any indication of why it veered off the runway, Jeff. I'm a bit bemused. We're assuming it's, they implied it was a mechanical issue because of the age of the aircraft. And it's, that's why you have, people, maintenance. A lot of the parts of that aircraft would have been replaced. So it's not like everything was 50 years old on it. But
let's watch it again. Let's see it again.
Okay, we're going to watch it again, and I think I was able to figure out a alternative way to lower the volume. So let's have another go at it. Yeah, so it's still there in the background a little bit, but okay, here we go. They're touching down.
So the touchdown looks lovely. Absolutely lovely. Nothing wrong with that. Nose will come down nice and gently. And then it just starts to, and it's quite a a sharp little. In fact, you can see the nose dip a little bit when it started to veer. So I'm just wondering if there was a brake issue. Now, what is terrible there is that as the wing gets damaged by presumably the gear or just the stresses of going over that soft ground, you can see a wave of fuel vapor rolling forward from the wing. And as soon as that ignites, there it goes, as soon as that ignites, that is the most dangerous aspect of any air incident on the ground, any crash on the ground. When you get fuel vaporizing, turning into an aerosol, then it becomes highly volatile. And, aviation fuel is quite hard to ignite. The petrol isn't, but the jet fuel is. I don't know if it's turboprop or what. But anyway, and that's the very sad part, because that huge pool of fuel would have gone forward and covered the flight deck. They were on hiding to nothing, those poor folk in the front. I don't know who else was on board. One person survived, but
probably severely burned, I would imagine.
I guess so, yes. Very sad, though.
All right.
Not good. Hey, we've got another runway overrun here.
Another runway overrun. Okay, well, this is something that we've talked about in the past. This is from the Aviation Herald. This happened in 2024, February of 2024. It involves a Marathon Embraer ERJ 195 on behalf of Air Serbia, registration Oscar Yankee Golf Delta Charlie, performing Flight 324 from Belgrade, Serbia to Dusseldorf, Germany, with 106 people on board. It lined up on runway 30 left at taxiway Delta 5, but overran the end of the runway before becoming airborne. Now, you recall that we had a pretty deep discussion about the fact that the crew did not go to the position that they were told, and the tower controller said, are you aware that you're at the wrong intersection, basically, and are you going to be okay from that point? And let's see if I can find the wording that might be a little bit better for the final report as far as explaining the whole thing. Well, anyway, Captain Nick, maybe you have a better...
I've got it, yep. So
Okay.
the tower asks Air Serbia 86 Charlie, are you familiar that you entered a runway by Delta 5 intersection? And I guess do you realize that you entered the runway by Delta 5? And they reply, yes, Tora is 22, actually, sorry, Tora, which stands for takeoff run available, is 1273 meters. I assume that is not enough. And the tower says, okay, calculate and call me. If you need, you can commence backtrack and line up a beam Delta 6, which I think was their planned intersection departure point. And they come back, the crew come back and say, okay, able to depart via Delta 5. So there is a lot of doubt as to whether they actually did a recalculation and whether they did it in the proper way, i.e. both of them did a calculation of their takeoff performance. But it's pretty obvious now that if only one of them did it, he made a mistake because plainly they couldn't get off in the runway available. And I think from the interviews they mentioned, they said the crew realized that they were running very short a runway. They went to full power to Toga, and despite that, they overran the runway by a considerable distance, hitting aerials and damaging the aircraft as they did so. And they were very lucky that they were able then to climb away and bring it back and make a successful emergency landing afterwards. And I don't think there were any injuries.
No.
Were there? No.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plane.
I recall, maybe I'm thinking of a different incident, but I think that when they were confirming the runway available or necessary for takeoff, that they had used the reciprocal runway, and that kind of led them to believe that, oh yeah, they were fine. But you know, it was just an instance of putting in the wrong numbers. You know, garbage in, garbage out. You know, it gave you an answer, but you gave it bad information to do the calculations.
So the air traffic were being very helpful. They were offering them the easy option of continuing to taxi to the correct intersection. The captain refused. He then pressurized, and this is straight from the report, he then pressurized the first officer that the runway length was sufficient. And the first officer sadly succumbed and did not cross-check the computation on his laptop, which I suspect was probably their company procedure, was to have both pilots independently make this safety-critical calculation.
Sure. Yep.
And then compare the numbers, and if there's a discrepancy, you both start again and redo it.
Yep. Agreed.
I made a mistake here because I said they went to full power, but accelerating through 80 knots, the captain notes the runway was very short. The first officer agreed, but did not adjust power settings. Because they were flexing to 33 degrees C, so they were using a flex of reduced power takeoff.
Oh boy.
And between V1 and V rotate, the first officer began rotation, raising the nose to 10 degrees, which results in a tail strike. Well, that's inevitable. If you're doing it early and you're trying to get the aircraft to fly, the chances are you'll rotate, and the aircraft won't get off the runway, and as a result, you'll bang the tail on. So. All of this is just a nightmare, and I despair at crews, particularly captains who ought to know better, who for some reason become fixated on not accepting the fact that they've taxied on at the wrong entry point, and not being willing to sit back, examine their actions, and go, this is not good. Let's regroup, start again. Let's go find the correct one, or let's do some proper numbers. And you just go. That's why we consider our profession one of professionals, and that is just so unprofessional to take that attitude to your flight.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Before you guys move on,
yes,
Eyal has a speculation on the Indian crash there that we just saw.
Oh, okay. Regarding the previous article or news item regarding the Indian Air Force crash of the Antonov AN-32, he says asymmetric thrust, or Eyal in our live audience says asymmetric thrust reverser deployment. Yeah, well, that would definitely give you...
Could have been. I couldn't see any evidence, but then again, you're probably not going to on a video of that quality. Did you find that out from a reliable source, Eyal? Or...
We'll have to wait for him to respond to that. It's probably going to be 20, 30 seconds.
Or is that just an opinion? Well, I say just. It could be a very valid opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, something caused an asymmetric deceleration and subsequent departure from the runway for sure.
Yeah, whether it was a brake issue or a rudder hard over, although I tried to look at the rudder when it came into view as it was leaving the runway. It didn't look like it
didn't
was
look like deflection
over-deflected. No.
Yeah.
Could have been. I don't know if this aircraft has nozzle steering, but that can always be an issue if your nozzle steering's gone wobbly.
No, he says there's nothing published.
There's nothing published. Okay, so that's probably his speculation.
So
it might be, very
is another
good
possibility, definitely.
It's a good.
Okay.
Okay, let's finish off with this one.
All right.
Jeff, I think you have
this last news item is a video, and it is the title of which is this the future of air travel? So let's see what this is all about.
Commercial helicopters in New York City could soon be replaced with aircraft like these. It's an all-electric aircraft by Joby Aviation. To get a closer look, we had the opportunity to fly in the helicopter behind Joby's aircraft to really see it in action. It flies vertically like a helicopter, but then can glide like a plane. And it just finished a demonstration flight from JFK. What's so interesting to me about this moment as an airline reporter is that a lot of planes that you see in the sky were developed decades ago, and they've been sort of updated slowly over time. It's extremely rare that you see a brand new aircraft designed from scratch. These aircraft have reached a point where they can actually start to have some real-world tests. And the Trump administration doesn't want to lose out to other countries, particularly China, which has led on drone manufacturing and manufacturing of electric vehicle batteries. But the reality is that there's a lot to learn before these can carry passengers. The power needs are extreme. Right now, they can generally fly for about 30 to 60 minutes, maybe 100 miles or so, but there are some hurdles, and price is one of them. It will cost a lot to produce these until they can reach scale and put them to use. Joby has partnered with Toyota, which is helping them with their manufacturing, and they're already being used and tested by the military because they're very quiet. Watching this demonstration, I think what it showed was that these aircraft are capable. I mean, the technology is there. They were able to take off from an airport and land in one of the busiest cities in the world. That doesn't mean that they're ready to carry passengers, but they're making real progress.
All right. And that video is from the New York Times.
I love that. It's a really nice looking design, isn't it? And the fact that it can do wing-borne flight is a great boon because, you know, it must increase the range of the aircraft considerably because a lot less power required once you've got the wings producing lift. Mm-hmm. Yes, it could well be, but it's not going to be the future of airline, long-range airline travel, I'm afraid. But it could well be, you know, the taxi of the future. We could have them buzzing around cities without, you know, any concern.
Yeah.
In the show notes.
All right, in the show notes for sure. So just another
interesting,
reminder.
but stupid.
Yeah, very interesting, but stupid. Yeah.
Get to know. Let's get to know you two guys.
Okay, let's get to know us. Here we go. That segment of the show where we get to share what we have been up to between episodes. Last episode was a little over a week ago, right before the Independence Day holiday here in the United States of America. It was, I think, the day or two before the actual Independence Day celebration here, the 4th of July. And as long as I'm talking about the 4th of July, I might as well just continue with what happened, what I did.
Go on.
Yeah, so let's see. My new friend invited me to join him, the one that I went up and had some great barbecue at this guy's house up in Cumming, Georgia, and we smoked cigars. You'll recall the picture of me looking like the Godfather, sitting there with smoking my stogie in the garage. That guy invited Shreyas and I up and some other couples for a party at the pool at their neighborhood. And so I started my day, Independence Day, singing at a special Independence Day Mass at 8:30 in the morning. Then after that, I and Shreyas drove up to the city to the north and spent some time at the pool. And again, great barbecue was had by all. And then I needed to leave for a short period of time to head back down to Roswell to sing again at the Vigil Mass. It's funny because when I was invited to join him for this, I'd completely forgotten that you sing every Saturday afternoon, Jeff, and like this is no different. Although in my head I'm thinking, well, it's a holiday, so.
Not at church.
Yeah. But then I went, oh yeah, they still do the Vigil Mass, so I still have to sing. So I came back down, sang, and then went back up to Cumming and picked up Shreyas, and then we were invited by a family that I've known for many, many years, decades actually. My family and their family had children going to school at the same place in Buckhead at a private Catholic school, and we carpooled, and because it was a kind of a long trek back and forth every day, a couple of times a day, so we wanted to share that burden, and so we became very good friends of that family. And I happened to have run into the wife, Rochelle. She was out trying to find red, white, and blue M&Ms. Because I guess there was some kind of brownie recipe that she was making that required the use of these Independence Day colors. And so after that, they said, "Hey, what are you doing? Tonight for the 4th, or maybe that was the day before. Anyway, what are you doing for the 4th of July?" And I said, "Well, I don't know." He said, "Why don't you come over and join us for some hamburgers and we can watch fireworks and stuff?" So I went, "Oh, okay." So that's what we did. I said, "You mind if I, bring my new friend?" And they said, "Yeah, no problem." So we had a great time.
Do they still live in the same place?
They still live in the same house that they had lived in 20-something years ago when we started doing all the carpooling and everything else. It was, what's really weird is they have many children, a good Catholic family, and the two youngest are twins, boy and girl, and they were never part of the carpool because they were, at the time, they were too young to be going to school. But the only one of their children was one of those twins, and Maeve is her name, and their last name is Doyle, so all the children's names are Irish names. And Maeve was there at the house. She's 22 years old.
Wow.
And, full-grown human
being. Did it make you feel old?
Oh, yeah, man, it made me feel very old. And Kevin, the patriarch of the family, is also an amateur home brewer. And
nice.
So we got to sample some of his local brew and his keg fridge out in the garage, and I had a couple of glasses of that, and it was really, really good. So yeah, all in all, it was great. And we went over to their, just right out the door and to the right, maybe, like 100 yards to their community pool. And that was a good vantage point to watch some fireworks. So their neighborhood is literally right across the street from the Roswell Area Park, which is the location of the city of Roswell's fireworks extravaganza. So nice. We were very, very close. You could see it over the tree line, but it was still, a good vantage point to watch the fireworks. So that was fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Trust me, you'll just have to imagine it.
I bet it was thrilling.
It was thrilling for sure. Yeah. Uh-huh. So that was the 4th. That was Saturday of last week. And everything since then has been just your standard stuff, doing some more singing on Sunday. But
you're getting ready to do something this
coming
week?
I am. Oh, yeah, I do. Thank you, Liz, for reminding me. Okay. So I have come up with my travel itinerary for heading up to Oshkosh, AirVenture, next week. And I have decided I'm going to leave on Thursday morning and head up. My first stop is going to be in Scottsburg, Indiana, I think, at a Harvest Host location.
Just a minute, I can look it up.
Called Sedona Farms. Yeah, Scottsburg, Indiana. Sedona Farms. It's just off the interstate, I think 75, or it could be 65 at that point. 75, I think. It's a farm, and they have electrical hookups and such. So I have a reservation to stay there on Thursday, late afternoon, evening. And then the next day, I'm going to continue the trek up and eventually pass by Chicago and Milwaukee and make it up not far from Lake Winnebago and Oshkosh, Wisconsin, in a place called Random Lake, Wisconsin. And it's just a random lake, I guess, that they have this farm. It's called the Jeff Lean Farm. Jeff. That's, I think, what
Jeff
really
Lean.
Jeff
so you've
Lean.
got to go out there leaning a bit, have you?
Oh yeah, or lean as far as fat, lean. Maybe.
Oh yeah. Okay, possibly.
But
Lean Jeff, yes.
I wonder if the wife's name is like something Lean, like Kathleen, and maybe the husband is Jeff,
probably.
Jeff Lean. I don't know. Anyway,
Greg Peterson's correcting you here. It's I-65.
Oh, is it I-65? Okay, thank you.
I-75 doesn't go through Indiana.
Okay, 65. That's it. Yeah, at some point, Greg is correct. At some point, I switched from 75 to 65. And Random Lake is only like just a little over an hour away from Whitman Field and at AirVenture, EAA AirVenture. So I'll be all set up for Saturday morning to make a nice leisurely trek up the little bit of distance remaining in my
Watch out for the plastic dustbins.
I will have to definitely watch out for those plastic dustbins. Yeah, I know. Every time I go up there, I think of that, Nick. So anyway, so that's going to be on Friday. And then I'll be arriving at AirVenture at Whitman Field, Camp Scholler. Actually, not Camp Scholler, technically, but that general vicinity on Saturday. And from that point on, Alpha Juliet and myself and a couple of other guys are going to be sharing an Airbnb, an old property, an old home in the downtown Washington Street, Washington Avenue neighborhood, I believe.
So will you be like letting people know where you are on the grounds?
Yeah, I'm going to try to do a good job. I'm going to try to post where I am at various points during the entire duration of the
post it where
AirVenture. And where am I going to post it? That's really a good question, Liz. Maybe
secret.
You just have to know where to look for it.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe on X and Facebook. I don't know. I'm sure that Liz will be happy to help me facilitate that. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, sure.
You might be
Saturday,
busy.
I'm going to the cottage, but
that's right. You're going to be up the cottage. Yeah. So during that week,
I'm not doing much though.
Okay.
After that.
Okay. Cool. I'll try
Saturday,
to let everybody know where I am and what we're doing.
You'll probably be picking up your credentials at some time on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday I'll have to pick up the media credentials and then. I think is it Sunday? I think that there's a special ceremony. Remember the Vietnamese lady that I'd met last AirVenture and who sadly was fatally injured in a crash in her aircraft that she was attempting to solo around the world. The first Asian female to circumnavigate the globe. And as I said, sadly, Antu, she was the founder of the Asian Women in Aerospace and Aviation, I believe is what AWAA stands for. There's a special memorial service for those that are being inducted into the memorial wall. So I'll be doing that on Sunday. So you can find me there. I think it's Sunday. If not, I'll try to post something to let people know. But we are planning on, having maybe some impromptu meetups here and there. Again, we'll try to post that for everybody that follows us and probably record a show.
Yeah. But no show this coming week.
Sometime, here or there. We're not planning on doing a show this next week. It's kind of a travel week, and Liz is really busy with things, so we'll see. If anything, if we do something, or if I do something, it might be just a solo venture, and without the help of Liz. So I'll be off the rails, I'm sure. That might be interesting, I don't know. I've been thinking about maybe doing something. Sure. Yeah, like a car crash or a train derailment. Could be a small train, not a big
unavailable, one. So.
Yes, I know. So, we'll see. But right now we're planning on not having a show next week. And then hopefully during the week of AirVenture at Oshkosh, we'll have at least one recording and hope to see you all up there.
So IL is going to be there.
Okay. IL and our live audience. I'm trying to get back to the StreamYard window. Here we go. He says, I'll be at Oshkosh all week with Brian Coleman. I'd love to meet up. Looking forward to seeing you. Okay, great. I think that Brian Coleman is also going to be with Tim Van Ram. I think they're renting a a trailer or something, and they'll be at Camp Scholler. So I'm looking forward to seeing so many of you.
That sounds like trouble.
Yeah, definitely trouble. Okay. That's our update on AirVenture and my travel plans in the next couple of weeks. Oh, after Oshkosh, I plan on joining the producer of APG in her second week at her cottage up on Owen Sound, Georgian Bay, on Lake Huron. So
maybe we'll do a show from there.
Maybe we'll do a show from there. Yeah. Why not? Okay. Oh yeah, Ayal says all four of us. So him, Tim, Brian, and who's the fourth?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe it's Fred, Mystery Man.
Mystery, yeah, Fred Sampson.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
I haven't seen him for a while.
Yeah, I know. Is he even alive? I don't know.
We love you, Fred.
Yeah, if you're listening, Fred, make yourself
Miss you.
known. Mark. Mark, the Van Ram brothers. Okay, so Tim and Mark,
the two Van Rams.
Al and Brian Coleman. Okay, cool. That's it for me. Well, that was a lot more than I usually have. So, go,
That's good.
Captain Nick.
That's good. Well, I suppose the highlight of my week was to go on somebody else's podcast. Yeah. No, not really. But it was good, though. I was invited to chat to the lovely folk of the History of Aviation podcast. And they have been around for quite a while. I think they've done about 90 episodes. The top dog there is Derek Beeler, and he's an aviation historian and tells good stories. And he's a great researcher. His producer, who I momentarily met because she was busy, so she wasn't really producing this show, is Julie. And the other co-presenter who was on at the time was Shay Jones. And Shay has grown a considerable beard since that picture was taken.
I almost didn't recognize it.
Yes, going to be about 9 inches long now. Yeah. And the other co-host, the very handsome-looking Julian Martinson, sadly wasn't around, so I couldn't say hello to him. But we had a very relaxed time, chatting about aeroplanes. And if you are interested in finding out more about them, because I really enjoyed being on their podcast.
Yeah, it was a really good show.
Yeah, thanks. You can find them on Apple Podcasts. Just look for the History of Aviation podcast. They're on Facebook, History of Aviation podcast, all one word. Instagram, same thing. On YouTube, History of Aviation podcast 732. And they're also on TikTok at history_of_aviation_pod. So all that is there. And I guess they're a nice bunch of guys. They're mainly to do with museums. I think both Shay and Derek work at a railway museum, I think. But they're both passionate about aviation. So I think they're using their history talents with trying to talk about, they are successfully talking about aspects of aviation that interest them, like the Payne Stewart Learjet tragedy and D.B. Cooper and Hemingway's two plane crashes and Cold War radar stations, all that kind of stuff. So very good. Very good.
It really makes sense if they work in a railway museum in Chattanooga, Tennessee, because, the Chattanooga choo-choo.
Oh, indeed, choo-choo. Yes. I very nearly, when on one of my Atlanta trips, rented a car just to drive there to say I'd been to Chattanooga. Because what a great name.
It is.
Yeah,
it's a great
beats
city.
Random Lake, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. Does it? I guess so. Yeah.
So do I. Okay, not much else to say other than I have had the most wonderful massage today. So I go every couple of weeks to see a sports masseur who pummels me and keeps me limber. So I'm feeling very laid back right now. Body is just glowing. So thank you, Bo.
What about the
for
Patunk?
rubbing me again?
Ooh,
Sorry?
Wow. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Did I distract you there for a second?
Yeah, you did. We have one of those kind of masseurs here in my area.
I think you probably do. Just try,
do.
Try Yellow Pages, or what do you call it? Craigslist.
That's the one I'm looking for. Patunk. Any update on your sporting endeavors?
Yeah, actually, we had a match Wednesday evening, and what a great match that was. We played, started at 7 o'clock, it got quite dark. Each of us we played in teams of 3, and everyone played each other, so there were we each had to play 3 matches so that everyone got to play each other. And our team won all 3 matches, and so did one of the other teams. They won all 3 of those, so we beat our opposition, which had come all the way from Cronwell Club, and beat them 6-3. A very satisfying result, and I was very pleased with that. So that was good. That's going on. And then tomorrow, I've got to be up early. We've got an all-day competition, so really looking forward to that. Although the weather has been a bit hot, and it will continue to be rather hot tomorrow, so got to take some suntan lotion and lots of cold drinks to get through that day. But,
Absolutely.
But Captain Nick,
for proper hydration.
You've been enjoying your air conditioning, yeah?
Yeah. Since we had the air conditioning put in the house last year, we've been running it constantly, more or less, for the last couple of weeks, and it's an absolute boon. In fact, we're getting the neighbours coming round now to watch because Wimbledon's on, so we've got neighbours in watching Wimbledon in air-conditioned comfort. I think they're enjoying that.
Are you selling tickets?
No, you should get your money back
tickets
from the install.
That would work. That would work, though, wouldn't it? Yeah, exactly right.
Cover art?
Yes, cover art. So let's see. There it is. Thank you, Liz. Had some good suggestions, and I've tried to include some of them in the show. Like we had underwater with 103% humidity.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how you can get humidity over 100%, because I reckon over 100% you're in actual water. So anyway, we got a sign there, and we've also got, it was Steffi's suggestion for the show title, which is I Follow Rivers, because she said that's what IFR means, I follow rivers, instead of instrument flight rules. So we've got an big IFR route thing there. But
what's going on over here now?
Yeah, no. There's something to do with Jeff flipping the bird at rugby players.
These very huge rugby players.
Well, they were. Why did we come up with that? What was the?
Jeff was driving with Shreyas,
I was going to the old Blind Dog pub to meet up with Shreyas's rugby fellow players, and he did the speed up and honk your horn, and I flipped the bird at these people that I don't know, and they don't know me, and they didn't see Shreyas with me, and thought, who is this guy flipping the bird at me? And they wanted to beat me up.
Yeah, you can see the result on the next image there, which Liz will now put up. There you go.
Oh boy!
Jeff is in a coffin, and they're about to slam the lid on. He's flipping them the bird, and they're just staring down into this coffin, looking extremely grumpy.
Yeah. So rigor mortis is set in, and his fingers.
Yes,
apparently.
He one finger got stuck. Indeed. So
but look at those guys! Wow.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend you do that again, Jeff. And mind you, can only die once, can't you?
That's true.
Now you can actually see the show number of this slide. Yeah, look on your headstone. Yes.
Yeah, over there to the left, Liz.
7-1. It's not easy to see even with that magnification, but let's say 714. And if you go back to the previous one, Liz, because on the coffin lid is the logo.
I see it.
So there you go. And we've got a couple more, I think.
Yeah, we do. Yep.
So
look
there
at
we
that.
go.
There's the penguin.
There's the
Penguin looks like a duck.
It does a bit, doesn't it? Whack, whack. Enjoying, the penguin is enjoying a swim in the river. And
who's that?
we've got Steph having a swim. Now, one of the suggestions was hail Steph. So
okay.
that's Steph doing a hail, I think.
I would say
Or she's doing the backstroke.
I think she's doing some synchronized swimming there.
Yeah, it does look like
synchronized swimming. Yes.
And it almost looks like there's like an alligator like right behind her about to. I guess those are rocks.
I think she's just blowing a few bubbles. She probably had beans for lunch.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's probably it.
Yep.
Yeah. So I had a bit of fun with that one.
That was a good one. I liked it a lot.
Yeah, very
Excellent.
nice.
That's me done.
Yep, excellent.
All right.
All righty. So do you want to just talk about Coffee Fund for a second?
Yeah. We'll just mention that if you're interested in supporting the show financially, we have something called the Coffee Bar Club, the Coffee Fund. And you can find out how to join or use one of two mechanisms that we have to contribute to our show. If you are getting value from this, or maybe even slight value, you might consider giving us some slight value as well. Help support us. The original OG method is through a PayPal donation page, and so information about that can be found on the website. And also you can become a patron of the show via patreon.com/airlinepilotguy. But again, instructions on how you can participate in the Coffee Bar Club can be found at our website, airlinepilotguy.com/coffee. And thank you very much for your consideration. We appreciate that.
Captain, incoming message.
We're going to start off the feedback segment today from some video feedback from David Shannon, and involves a BA pilot versus JFK ATC. David from Wigan says, "Hi, Liz, Jeff, and Nick." How did he know it was just going to be the three of us today? That's pretty cool. Love the show. Longtime listener. Thought you would like this one. Okay, this is from YouTube. And now, Liz, if you'll put that up there, fingers crossed, I'll hit the return button and it should start playing.
Flight Flight November, Heavy Runway 228, line is late, RVR is 1000. Line up, I'm wait, runway to the right, hello to Flight November.
Kennedy, Seabird 18 Alpha Heavy, are you declaring LVOs? Kennedy from Speedbird 18 Alpha Heavy, are you declaring LVOs?
I'm not on the show. I don't understand the question. Speedbird 118 Alpha Heavy.
Roger, you just said RVR 1,000 feet. Are you declaring low visibility operations or not?
I'm not declaring anything, no.
Roger, but you've given 1,000 feet RVR, correct?
That is correct.
Roger, that means that you have just said that you have low visibility. So please assure us that you have got LVOs in force, or we cannot depart in less than 1,000 feet of visibility.
British Airways 18 Alpha Heavy. I do not understand what you're saying.
Roger, it is very simple, sir.
Really?
You have declared RVR of 1,000 feet. That means that your visibility is low. LVO is standard ICAO terminology. Have you got low visibility procedures in force or not?
No, sir.
Roger, the 18 Alpha is unable to make a departure in these conditions.
Understood. Speedbird 18 Alpha Heavy, make a right turn, enter 2 right, and exit left at Fox Bravo off the spot for you till the increase.
Wow.
That's not really a solution.
Well,
you mean, does he mean JFK can't operate in low visibility conditions?
I don't.
Because that is patently incorrect.
Yeah.
Because they've got Cat 3 capable runways. They must be able to operate in low visibility.
I think there might be a problem with the terminology being used or whatever. And
LVO seems pretty international to me, but is it to you? Because obviously, from my background, I know exactly what LVO procedures are and what those conditions are.
Yeah, it's such a rare thing when you're actually using like the SMIGS charts, and like the lighted, the different lights that you have to follow under those low visibility conditions. But yes, you're right. John F. Kennedy International Airport certainly has low visibility operations procedures. I don't know what the confusion was from the controller. I get a sense that he was just irritated by, the almost condescending tone and being schooled by the BA pilot. Yeah.
Sadly, he has a point when
he does.
Got into FAA regulations. When the visibility in RVR drops below 1,200 feet, airports are required to implement strict low visibility procedures, and I'm reading that directly from the FAA advisory circular. So, I mean, the most important things are that it mandates protected ILS areas. So people who are doing Cat 2 and Cat 3 ILS approaches know that the equipment on the ground is being protected from disruption by big metal things like airplanes passing in front of them and bending the beams and causing. It's because obviously you rely entirely on the ground equipment to guide you into the end of the runway, and if a damn great big airplane has gone past the and into the area, the critical area, then it creates a danger. And I don't like the way he put it. He's being a bit self-righteous and standing on a bloody soapbox, but I'm afraid the guy from British Airways is absolutely correct.
And you know what? I would bet that they do have these procedures already implemented because of the low visibility, less than 1,000 RVR. Maybe they're just not used to, using that terminology or admitting it, or just assuming that people understood that, below 1,000 feet, that this is what happens. But so it was, I think, another example of just bad communication. Going on there.
I agree. At least I hope so, because that controller seemed nonplussed by the question, and I think most professional pilots would be going, "No, that's absolutely. I don't understand what the problem is." And we all understand what he was getting at.
And we need to have you say that, because otherwise we can't operate in these conditions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's obviously got something in his manuals that say, in low visibility operations, you must confirm that low visibility procedures are in force. So to operate safely. So, having said that, British Airways aren't renowned for being polite, so
and Kennedy controllers aren't really known for being really.
So we've got kind of an irresistible force, immovable object situation.
Sit back and grab some popcorn and enjoy the show.
Indeed, watch the fireworks. Yes, it's the 4th of July again.
Yeah. All right.
That was a good one.
Now, this is a video we alluded to on the last show, but Eva has brought it.
Eva, yes. Yes, we did allude to this video on a previous show or last show. Eva sent us in some feedback, video feedback in Facebook. What in the Yeehaw Texas barbecue is going on here? All right. Good morning, APG gang. Again, sorry for being so quiet. I've been following along with all the shows, though seem to perfectly miss most of the live shows. This afternoon is hopefully going to work out nicely so I can join you. And I believe she did when she did. Shortly after she sent this to us. I just saw this video on the Bass Aviation Instagram feed and knew I had to send it to you for the show. Initially, it's so implausible that I thought it had to be AI. But some mild sleuthing on Flight Radar 24 revealed that the last flight this aircraft appears to be this. The last flight for this aircraft appears to be this flight, clearly showing the shenanigans over Horseshoe Bay. Okay, so she has a link to the shenanigans, and we're going to hopefully play these shenanigans. Are we ready, Liz?
I'm ready.
All right. There's a big airplane coming down the runway with its gear up. It's very low. It's a very large airplane. Ooh. And that little inset in this video kind of hid the right wingtip and how close the right wingtip got to touching the surface of the Earth.
Yes, indeed. And spoiling everyone's day.
No kidding. Do you want to see that again?
Sure.
Yeah, I wish we had another one that was close.
Yeah, so, yes, it's a shame that I've seen several of these video clips without that inset there showing the... Yeah, just trust me when I say that wingtip looked like it may have been 10 feet from touching.
Yeah, that's generous.
Okay, generous,
So
yeah.
I would say...
Wow.
Because he puts that bank on pretty sharply, and he hasn't really started climbing at that point. So, he just lowers that wingtip right, so close to the ground.
So what is this? This is the Flight Radar 24 images show an aircraft in Mammoth Freighters livery. Mammoth Freighters livery, a company that operates out of Fort Worth, Texas. Well, there you go. Bunch of cowboys over there, huh? According to the FAA registry, the aircraft's now owned by JetTran LLC, a leasing and aircraft solutions company that operates out of Horseshoe Bay Airport. Now, when I saw Horseshoe Bay, I thought, well, that sounds like somewhere in Alaska or Canada or something like that. But it's right there in Texas, not far at all from Fort Worth. Let's see. I can't imagine Qatar would be too happy with an aircraft still in their livery getting up to these sorts of antics. Yeah, so it looks like at some point Qatar had the airplane and it was still painted in the Qatar livery.
Interestingly, I just happened to catch, by pure coincidence today, Pete the Irish pilot. He's a lovely bloke from my old airline, and he analyzes a lot of these kind of little video clips in a very direct manner. Is that a polite way of putting it? Yeah. Anyway, he said that both the Qatar and Mammoth Freighters deny having anything to do with this. They say it was nothing to do with them.
Surprise.
So they're just disowning it completely. And I'm just wondering if it was owned actually by somebody else, was the aircraft just being repositioned by a random crew that were rented for the day? But anyway, he was saying the big boys who are being named here, like those two companies, are just washing their hands of this. Yeah, the FAA are looking into it.
Yeah. It was an old Delta 777.
Oh,
I noticed
it was
that.
Delta's fault.
Well, it's got to be. Yeah, I probably had something to do with it. I don't know.
Yes, probably.
But I did notice that the registration on the aircraft was a Delta registration. Still
clever. Excellent.
You know what happened? It's like at the FBO. Somebody had the 777 keys and they just left them on the counter,
Yes.
and somebody just walked up and went, "Let's just 777 on here. I'm going to go and take this thing for a spin."
Good idea. Yeah, absolutely. Hold my beer.
Don't you think we can blame Boeing somehow?
Well, yeah, of course it's Boeing. If Boeing hadn't made that airplane, Liz, it would not have happened. So definitely it's Boeing's fault. Greg mentions that
Nice one.
this place,
Absolutely.
Horseshoe Bay or whatever they call it, is 150 miles southwest of Fort Worth. Yeah.
In the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere, Texas. Like who could possibly know that we did anything like that? We're in the middle of Texas.
Yeah.
There's people don't have cell phones with cameras and videos and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you, Eva, for sending that in. Hope everything is going well in your training. And we always love hearing from you. Let's see. Oh, speaking of MetroDoc, Ernest, He sent us something from TikTok. Let me see here. Another video. So again, if we'll slap that thing up there, Liz. There we go.
Delta 2476. We're shut down for 40 minutes, you say?
Yes, sir. Ground Bush Streak 5505. Is that shut down for all departures?
Ground American 3224. Just to clarify with all that, are departures shut down now, or they will be shutting down?
The departure stopped at 1640, and departures will not resume until 1720.
All right, thank you, American 3224. And for American 3224, you know what's the cause of that? Are they changing directions or?
Negative. It's for some practice work for the UFC fight on Sunday.
All right, thanks.
Okay, so I've been in and out of DCA, Reagan Washington National Airport. Is very close to the Capitol, the White House, the U.S. The whole complex up there in Washington, D.C., very close by. And when you ever have an event that includes some kind of like a flyby or something like that, it's not unusual. I mean, it's happened to me personally, probably at least three times in my career, where everything is a ground stop. Everything stops because in order to position themselves for a flyby over the White House or whatever event happens to be going on, they just need to shut down all the traffic. They can't have airplanes coming in for landing and taking off because, it's a safety thing. So, yeah, in this case, it happened to be an event that a lot of people are scratching their heads about that occurred a few weeks ago. But again, it's not really that unusual for something like that to happen. It just happens to be good or bad timing on your part if you happen to be there when everything shuts down.
I presume that the timing of these shutdowns is for security reasons, so they don't give any advance notice.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So hopefully, I guess that's my only comment is that, yeah, I mean, we may believe that whatever they were doing the flyby for was kind of a ridiculous thing, or maybe we think it's a great thing, depending on your political sensibilities. It happens quite a bit up there. Okay.
Tim Van Ram.
Tim Van Ram. Yeah, look at that. He sent us a video clip from Instagram regarding clean air on flights. So let's see what this is all about.
The cleanest air on the plane isn't where you think. And the reason most people get sick on long flights is the wrong setting. 20 years standing at this checkpoint, and I never thought about it until my pilot friend walked me through the cockpit this morning. Cabin air gets pulled through hospital-grade filters, cleaner than your own kitchen, and pushed out of that little overhead nozzle in a downward curtain. That curtain is your protection, because the air your row breathes goes straight down and out instead of sideways. So the sick person 3 rows up can't reach you as long as your nozzle's open. Most people twist it shut because they get cold, but don't. Open it when you sit down, point it at your face, and layer up instead, because the moment you close it, you're breathing whatever's drifting down the aisle.
Okay. That was a security person, TSA, I'm guessing. I don't know. I'm not sure I recognize but some kind of an airport security official standing in front of or right behind the cockpit. So that's kind of the setting, just to kind of give you an idea if you're not watching the video. And I don't know I think most of that information was accurate.
Certainly about the filters.
Yeah,
they are really high quality, very capable filters that they have on board aircraft. They're at least equivalent to the sort of air filters you would have in an operating theatre to maintain, absolute cleanliness of the air that's being blown into a operating theatre, and the same occurs on an aircraft. And in fact, I remember chatting to a highly qualified doctor who was part of the team that used to design and assess these filters, and he said, actually, people think that the older the filters get, the worse it's going to be. And he said, whereas in fact, as the filters become blocked by the tiny, tiny particles that they're catching, he said they actually become more efficient because, up to a point, they're going to, as the tiny, minuscule holes get blocked, less and less particles, fewer and fewer particles are going to get through. And he said, you don't want them to be bypassed so that's why they changed them. He said, but don't ever worry that you've got an old filter in there and it's not working very well. It's exactly the opposite.
Not only that, but, between flights, sometimes we'll take those filters out and put them out on the ramp and find a hose and hose them down a little bit. And it really helps.
I've taken a broom to them occasionally,
and whack it.
Yeah, found an old broom in there and whacked them a few times.
So,
yes.
Don't worry about that air, man. It's clean. It's super clean.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there's a certain element of yes. If you have the Punkah Louvre.
Yeah.
The Punkah Louvre, as it's correctly termed.
What are you saying?
Punkah Louvre.
What language is that?
Punkah Louvre. We all know what a Punkah Louvre is. Are you sure you're an airline pilot?
I've never heard of that. How do you spell that?
Not.
Let me look that up.
Punka. I guess.
Punka. Louvre?
It's an old Louvre.
Like a louvered window.
Okay. Punkah Louvre.
Punkah. Punkah.
K-A-H. Okay.
Jeff,
Captain Nick
just
is
doing
right on.
a fact check.
The Punkah Louvre, a new principle in aviation. And this looks like an image from like the 1930s. I'm serious.
Everybody has this modern.
Wow. Okay. Aluminum Punkah Louvre. Okay. Thank you for, educating me. I've never heard that term ever used.
Anyway, if you have your Punkah Louvre on, I can see, you could possibly stop other people's breath coming towards you. But quite honestly, the airflow is pretty quick. It's not like it hangs around in the cabin and waits for people to suck in germs. It is a fairly constant flow from where it enters above to where it exits below. And there's vents all the way along the aircraft. So the Punkah Louvre, there you go. New principle in ventilation. Where did you find that historic document?
Google. From Thermotank Limited, apparently.
Yeah. I want you to now type in define Punkah Louvre in aviation. But there you go. A new principle. Yeah, look at that. Yes.
I see the Punkah Louvre over there next to the young lady leaning over her old-fashioned typewriter.
She doesn't look like she's in an aircraft, though.
No, I don't think this has anything to do with aviation.
It's also known as an eyeball vent.
Oh, well, I know that's the term
Well, that's from
I've heard.
people who don't understand what a Punkah Louvre is.
That would be me.
Yeah, you call it an eyeball vent then.
Okay.
Tim did say he thought this would provoke some good discussion.
Well, he was right. Thank you, Tim.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right.
So there we go. But you're right. It's often a bit chilly because it's supposed to be to freshen you up, make you feel nice and awake.
Wakey.
I mean, that makes sense, but honestly, I'm one of those that goes in and like closes the Punkah Louvre.
Yeah.
Because it's just
all right. Then here's another
cold.
one. Who's a Punkah Walla?
Oh, isn't that in India? It's your Batman, your servant, kind of.
The Punkah Walla was in the time of the Raj, Englishmen in India, they used to have these big fans. They were like a carpet in the ceiling that used to wave back and forth.
Okay.
And the Punkah Walla was the bloke who pulled the rope that waved all these fans that moved the air and kept all the Englishmen cool.
So I'm gathering that Punkah must be like some kind of route for air or movement of air.
Yes,
moving
I wonder
air
what it is. Yes,
like fan or something. Yeah.
Okay, staff. All right, they're doing some research on it right now. I can see Captain Nick doing the research.
It originated from the Hindu word panka, which derives from the Sanskrit word meaning wing or feather. It describes a traditional manually operated cooling fan. The concept began as early as the 6th century. Good Lord.
Wow.
Well before the British Raj, evolving into the large swinging fabric and frame ceiling fans adopted by the British colonialists in the 18th century India.
Why did you bother putting air conditioning in? You could have had a Punkah Walla there.
Slap up a bunch of those Punkah Louvres.
Finding a Punkah Walla nowadays would be quite hard, I think.
I guess so. Well, Jilly could be your Punkah Walla.
Well, I'll ask her if she'll volunteer to be my Punkah Walla. Yes.
That's your new term of endearment.
Well, if this is not a show title in some way or another, I don't know what. You don't care. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, very good.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah. And thank you, Captain Nick, for introducing that word that I've never heard of. Ever.
Well, there you go. I'm here to expand your vocabulary.
I can't forget it. Sadly.
Everywhere.
Yeah. All right. Moving on, I guess.
It's a bit like potable, isn't
it? Rick K. Every time he sends us feedback, we have the same discussion because I never remember exactly how to pronounce his last name. Kowalczyk, I think.
I would say Kowalczyk.
Yeah, Rick Kowalczyk. 2 articles he sends in. Captain Jeff and crew, hope all's well with you and the crew. Below are a couple of articles I found interesting. The first one is about AI flying, or would that be Al flying, like Captain Al? No, AI. Flying an airplane, and the second is about an NTSB concern. The first one, the AI flying the airplane, from articles from CNN.com. And let's see. So the article talks about a small Cessna Caravan that has been converted to non-human flight. Although in this case, on this particular flight, they talk about in this article, test pilot Matt Diamond in the left seat beside me is not controlling the airplane at all, and we're showing a picture of that. He's got his hands off. Many of the normal tasks of piloting are instead being handled by artificial intelligence. I am, legally speaking, a test subject. Okay, he's in the right seat. Even the airplane's labeled experimental. The Merlin pilot system, that's what they're calling this. Merlin pilot. Oh, I guess like a wizard. Merlin the wizard.
Yeah.
Handles much more than a traditional autopilot using a natural language processing model to listen to instructions from a mock air traffic controller and responding over the radio using a computerized female voice. Test pilot Diamond says, authorize, and the airplane begins turning to a new course. As a pilot myself, and admittedly a bit of a control freak, surrendering control to a computer did not come naturally, but the demonstration is an important one, as more aviation companies are looking to AI to usher in a new evolution in air travel by using it to automate tasks for pilots and perhaps one day enable fully autonomous flights. Okay. There's more to this article that we'll have linked in the show notes. We've talked about this on and off quite a bit on the show, where we think everything's going with this, and AI continues to surprise us, and but I still hold the position that I don't think we're going to completely eliminate humans, especially in passenger aircraft or airline travel, but maybe minimize whatever human input there is more of a managing / there in case something goes wrong kind of role. I don't know. What do you think, Captain Nick?
I think it's very early days, but I think AI, when it has evolved into something that can tell the difference between 6 fingers and 5 fingers when it's drawing someone's hand, when it's got beyond that point, I might trust it a bit better, because there's no doubt about it, there are an awful lot of holes we see daily in what AI can do. And knowing the rigorous requirements of aviation travel, it needs to be a darn sight better than it currently displays to us in, everyday life. So, yes, I think there is a place for it, and it can be used as a tool, just like you do now. It could automatically acknowledge radio calls, take down clearances, read back stuff, if you wanted it to. It could relieve the workload for the pilots if you wanted. So we all see the spiral down the bath plug here, don't we? Because if you're taking away tasks from the pilots don't need to be so well trained, which means you can shorten their training, you can pay them less, and that is a downward spiral, and we all know where that's going to end up. So I personally, of course, with 50 years plus of aviation experience, would feel very uncomfortable if we were going to go too far down this path too fast. Having said that, particularly outside of the military, civil aviation is a very conservative, small c, bunch of people, and we take a lot of convincing before we adopt new technology, and it has to be very well proven. And so long as we continue with that reluctance to accept everything straight off the factory floor, we really want to see it in operation. We want to inspect it. We want to make sure it's going to work properly. We want to be righteously suspicious of new innovations where we really can't see an advantage. Then I think we're going to be probably okay. But heaven forbid, should we get a generation of pilots or manufacturers in charge who don't have that same level of suspicion.
Mm-hmm. I agree completely. Okay, and then the second article that Rick sent us involves this from Reuters. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, on Tuesday, it's probably a while ago, last month, called on the FAA to revise how it assesses runway conditions during heavy rainfall, citing safety risks of airplanes skidding off the runway. There's a picture of one right there that Liz is showing us here in the video, and will be in the show notes. That's a Miami Air 737-800. They were coming in to land at NAS Jacksonville, Florida. Came to a rest in the St. Johns River in Jacksonville on the 4th of May, 2019. Yeah, that kind of, and we covered that, by the way, on our show. So the recommendations follow NTSB investigations of 11 runway overrun accidents and incidents from 2008 through 2022 that occurred after landings on wet runways. The NTSB called on the FAA to reform the so-called Runway Condition Assessment Matrix, or RCAM, that uses a 6-point scale for pilots. The board cited the 2019 overrun of the 737 that we were just showing there, due in part an extreme loss of braking friction due to heavy rain and the water depth on the ungrooved runway, which resulted in viscous hydroplaning.
Ooh, viscous hydroplaning.
Yeah. In the 2019 incident, a Boeing jet chartered by the U.S. military was arriving from Naval Station Guantanamo Bay in Cuba with 142 people on board when it slid into the St. Johns River at the end of the 9,000-foot-long runway at Naval Air Station Jacksonville. There were no serious injuries. They just got a lot of wet feet, I think. The NTSB also recommended the FAA issue new rainfall intensity descriptors for aviation weather reports to identify rainfall intensities exceeding the current heavy rain threshold of 0.3 inches or 7.62 millimeters per hour. The FAA said it takes NTSB recommendations seriously and will carefully consider those issued on Tuesday. The FAA encourages airports to report wet runway conditions. So, when I saw this article and I was thinking about, sliding around on runways, especially those runways that are non-grooved. Now, fortunately here in the U.S. and probably many places, especially big international airports that Captain Nick operated in and out of, it's not uncommon for you to have grooved and have porous friction overlays, etc. Things that make the runways not so slippery when they're wet. But there are probably a majority of the places in this world. And you don't have to go too far from the U.S. You fly down into the Caribbean, you fly down into Latin America and South America, and there are a lot of runways. And this one happens to be one right here in Florida, a Naval Air Station runway that are not grooved or have porous friction overlays. And so you have to be so careful when conditions are like this.
And of course, even if you've got a grooved runway, you can get rainfall that is so intense that it just overcomes the ability of the runway to clear the water and give you something, that is not a surface of water to land on. So, even if you've got the best runway surface in the world, we need to be able to know how hard the rain is coming down and at what point that runway turns from being wet to being flooded, and so hydroplaning then becomes a distinct possibility. It is very important. And I've been out of the system now for long enough for me to say I hope things have changed, but my experience, not just in America, but in many other countries, was that the ability of air traffic to detect and report runway conditions was generally pretty lousy. You would get out-of-date reports. They wouldn't react quickly to a sudden downburst of water. And they had no real accurate way of measuring other than perhaps driving out there and putting a ruler on the runway to see how deep the water is, or using a runway friction testing gear, which itself is not particularly good at representing what an aircraft will encounter when it lands on the runway. And the chances of you getting a report quickly were down remote, so you end up just tossing a coin. If you're a skipper trying to get in to land and there's just been a huge heavy downpour, you are just going, well, I really have no idea if it's going to be safe to land, or I'm going to risk hydroplaning off the far end. So you just hope for the best and, put my hand on my heart. I've been in that situation so many times. Luckily for me, I never had an issue. It was always okay. And I put that down to, the aircraft I flew and the tyre manufacturers. But not much else, I'm afraid.
Yeah. You said it was up to flipping a coin. Would somebody go out there near the runway and flip a coin and see what happens to it when it hits the runway?
See how high the splash went when the coin fell down.
Very true.
Yeah, and it's a great excuse for that firm touchdown. Not that rolling on the. Anytime you're
no flare, no
floating.
Just slam that thing down, and that actually is not maybe slamming it down, but a firmer than normal touchdown is recommended usually in the flight manuals because you want to break that possibility for the hydroplaning and the viscous hydroplaning phenomenon.
You know what, Jeff? If you float on that runway, you're going to end up floating there at the end.
If you float on that runway, you're going to float at the end. Yeah. Well, thankfully that airplane did float at the end, Liz.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to adjust my camera. I just raised my sit-stand desk to a new level, and now I feel like I'm at the kids'
table.
Look
very short.
Yes, please. May I have another? Let me...
UH Blackhawk has a comment here.
Does he?
Yeah.
Almost ran off 11,000 feet. Oof.
Yikes.
Wow.
Where? Oh, Detroit.
Wow.
Probably in the winter, with the winter time, do you think?
Yeah, I'll bet it had something to do with wintry conditions. Yeah.
Don't know. We'll find out.
What say you,
that would be
Blackhawk?
terrifying. I would find that terrifying because, 11,000 feet is a vast length of runway to land on. You generally speaking, you would be going, yeah, we'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
We just got to loop back to the Punkah Louvre. This is from UH.
We have to Louvre back to the Louvre,
Yeah.
the Punkah Louvre. UH Blackhawk says, I can't wait to use that term in a conversation with the flight attendants. They're going to go, wow, this pilot is like, something wrong with this guy.
Activate Punkah Louvres.
We always thought that this guy was a little weird, but now we know for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snow. Okay. Yeah.
Snow. Okay.
They didn't do a very good job of clearing it then.
Yeah. The first to land after it was cleared. Yeah, that's always a dicey situation, isn't it? Like, okay, you're the first customer. Let's see how we did. You didn't do very well.
Air guinea pig.
Air guinea pig. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have another article from Rick. He sent a third one in.
Okay. Rick sent us
I would just refer to this and
another piece of feedback, and we'll just quickly touch upon it, but we'll put it in the show notes. You can check it out yourself from Politico.com. Just read the news article about the FAA using AI to basically mine the current data it has to help fix problems within the system. It's a long read, but interesting. Okay. Aviation officials turn to AI for combating runway issues. And the aviation agency has partnered with tech company Palantir. I don't know if that's the way that's pronounced or not, but sounds good to me. The long-term goal is to get to predictive, said one official. Federal aviation officials are hoping to sharply reduce close calls on airport runways by using AI, an effort that comes after a deadly runway crash in New York this year. Talking about the Jazz CRJ and the fire truck. As I said, the FAA has partnered with technology company Palantir, which has developed a new AI tool that the agency is already deploying to distill a fire hose of data and predict potential problems with takeoffs and landings. Okay. And there's more to that article there. Well, that's good. I'm glad that people are making an effort to, make things more safe and data mine to come up with some solutions.
Now,
yes,
Steph is actually joining us on the show, we think, based on Sam's feedback here.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Sam sent us this. Now, I don't know. Let me just read what Sam has said. Sam Bolog in Los Angeles area.
He's in the chat. He
is with us. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sam, I'm not sure, but we're going to do this. He says, hello, everyone. I was on this flight today. We had to delay departure at the last minute, apparently for Air Force One. If the audio is clear enough for you to hear, and it's not great, tell me that it's not Steph, Dr. Steph. Okay.
I thought it sounded pretty good.
Do you think so? Okay, well, maybe it's just my
I did.
ears are clogged or something. Okay. Let me pull that up if you'll throw that. Now, the video imagery that we're looking at is really not spectacular. It's the back of the seat in front of Mr.
Jeff,
Bolog.
I don't see your window open.
Oh, I need to share again because I've been doing so many things back and forth. Okay, here. Let me... here we go. Now you can do it.
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So what we're looking at here is Sam is on a CRJ 900. How do I know that? Because I'm looking at the safety card in front, in the seat back of the seat in front of him. And it's a Delta connection carrier. I'm not sure which one, but but this is involving audio. Okay.
The audio. Everybody listen closely.
Okay, everybody listen closely. Here we go. you know what? I think he's right. That that did sound.
She certainly talks fast, like Steph does.
Yeah,
the same cadence.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't really make out a lot of it, but
yeah, Sam. I guess Steph has been kind of keeping this a secret from
she's been
everyone.
She's been not on some shows lately.
Yeah, that's right. Sometimes she's not on the show. Like today, I'm wondering what flight she's piloting right now.
Exactly.
By the way, what's this CRJ 700 ooh? I don't quite understand what the ooh was for.
Let's see. Let me get back to the image that he's looking at, and then we can put that back up there, Liz, if you'd like.
CRJ 900 ooh.
Or maybe it's the French version, like ooh la la. I don't know.
Right. Well, it's built in Montreal.
Is it French Canadian? Is that what it is?
Yeah, it is built. It is built in Montreal by what used to be a company called Bombardier.
Correct.
Or Bombardier, if you prefer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, some people do.
Some people do. Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Now I stand corrected, Sam. You're right. That did sound like Steph.
It did sound like Steph.
All right.
Okay, so
yes?
We've only got a little under 10 minutes left. The two that I would like to cover, and then we'll see where we're at, is 15, because it's about AirVenture, which is coming up.
Oh, yeah.
At that one, and I'd also like to do 14, just that logo thing. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Let's do that then. Let's wrap it up
14,
with these two.
14 and 15, 15, 14, whichever way you want to go.
Which one do you want me to do first?
Let's do the logo one.
Okay,
first.
Let's do the logo one. Okay. And I believe this was sent in to us from Dominic O'Kelly.
Yep.
And
I saw this and I thought it was brilliant.
I did
really
too,
did.
Nick. I agree. I like it.
I'm
Somebody
because
else.
it involves my
school,
airline and I'm old school. Nay. I don't know. I'm definitely in the minority here. But okay, so the
go and get your mates in then.
The title of his feedback is improving ? The Delta logo. Okay, this is from Instagram. It's one of those reels from Instagram, and Dominic kind of senses maybe what my reaction may be. I wonder what Captain Jeff thinks of this. Yeah, I think you're going to find out. Here we go.
Let's fix the Delta logo. All right, first and foremost, this type is way too far apart. Huge gaps. Let's fix that. Let's choose a title case so it's a little bit easier to read, a little bit more modern. And then this symbol, it's a triangle that represents a delta. And it has negative space in here that I think makes it into like a compass point, which is fine, but it's pretty abstract. Let's give it a touch more meaning. Let's start with the type. I chose Aonic here. It's a nice face, easy to read. However, let's kern up that type so it's tight but not touching. That's how I like my sans serif title case. And then let's clean it up a little bit more. Let's chop off the left side of that T, make these letters fit better together. Now I'm really focused on this. Maybe if we can make this look less like an I and more like an L. There we go. Now we got some motion leading you up, just like an airline. So here's the symbol. It's all right. Let's keep that brand equity, but add that meaning. Let's remove this. And then with that delta symbol,
I love this.
Add that nice vertical line, and all of a sudden you have a plane taking off in motion. And when you put it all together, it is a beautiful thing. This is my idea for a new Delta logo.
Yeah. Okay, enough with the music. Okay.
What does Jim think? Have you pointed this in his
very
direction?
good point, Nick. What does Jim Machado think?
Yeah. Well, I'm sure he'd have some opinion.
Jim Mercado.
Yeah, Mercado.
Because after all, this is right in his bailiwick.
It is. This is what he does for a living.
I just think that's quite brilliant there.
Okay, yeah, so that reminds me of something that's already in the aviation world. That's a logo that looks really familiar to me. I don't recall. Maybe somebody in the chat can tell me what it is that I'm thinking it looks like. But I've seen that before, so that kind of isn't original.
Blackhawk's got a good point here.
Yes, but is it airline or airline? Yeah, well, So almost every airline out there puts air and line together as one word. Delta, again, old school, has kept them separate because they are airlines. But you know how we, in the modern world, in language and words, kind of smush everything together, like make everything one word, like airline pilot guy.
So portmanteau, isn't it? When you squish something together, two words.
I think that
Air Traveler likes the font. He does.
Yeah, I like the font.
Yeah, so do I.
I thought it was very creative.
Well, okay. Well, again,
although
as I
traditionally
said,
the T is shorter than an L, but who cares?
Here's some examples of logos over the years at Delta Airlines. They did at one point kind of make it more modern over here. I don't know if you see my cursor here over to the right.
Yep.
Yeah, that was
different font, that's for sure.
It was a different font. The kerning was tighter. And even with the all capitals, it hasn't always been with that big giant, a lot of space or loose kerning. Is it kerning, or I think kerning is the right term?
Yeah, sounds right.
And here's an example of the capitalized letters with tighter kerning, which I like actually. So they've changed the logo over the years. Here's another modern.
But all very subtle. This is would be quite a dramatic alteration.
So Tanya likes it. It's kind of cute.
Okay. Here's the original. Liz and I were talking about this the other day, and she was expressing how she really liked what this guy had come up with. This right here, about in the middle of the of what I'm showing on the video, is the original widget. It's called a widget in the Delta world, and then when we merged with Northwest, then they made it all red. And give it a little kind of a three-dimensional
I quite
look.
like the old red. I prefer it to the red and blue because
I agree.
Makes it more solid.
Well, it kind of reminds me of Virgin. I can see where you're coming from.
I also like the light and the dark because it gives it a nice 3D impact. But
anyway.
But this is what this guy does on Instagram. He's done this with all sorts of logos. So it's not just Delta he's working on. Like if you go to his Instagram, he's done this with a whole bunch of different logos. So
Yeah,
anyway.
That one right there, that's the one I come to identify with. That's the old classic, look. But as I said,
Jim, we need an opinion. I trust
Jim Mercado. Maybe you can. I have a feeling he'll like the new presentation of it as well. Oh well.
Okay.
That's okay.
Last but not least, let's go to Aunt Pruitt.
Okay. Last but certainly not least, we're going to end our show today with some feedback from our good friend Aunt Pruitt, and it's regarding AirVenture. Hello, Miss Liz, Dr. Steph, Captain Jeff, Alpha Juliet, and he left you out, Captain Nick.
Yeah,
so
I don't know quite why.
Cover your ears. You don't need to hear this.
Perhaps I wasn't on this show.
Yeah, possibly. I hope you're doing well. I wanted to send a quick note of thanks for the AirVenture interview you held on episode 713. I had no idea about AirVenture and found the information shared fascinating. Thank you for having Mr. Nipinski on. He mentioned how busy the airport gets there and how it surpasses the likes of ATL or JFK with regards to air traffic. All the incoming and outgoing flight chaos. Mr. Nipinski mentioned the thousands of takeoffs and landings happen in a span of about 14 hours. My question to you all, how is that possible? Is it because of the shorter runway space needed by the aircraft? Is it because the aircraft are mostly GA, general aviation, and not subject to waiting around as long for a previous aircraft's takeoff wake to clear? Seems like I read ATL can have moments in the day where flights are cleared for takeoff every 2.5 minutes. Don't quote me on that because I don't remember my source. Anyway, I was just curious about all that. Definitely not an important question I'm asking. Yeah, but it's an interesting question, I'd say. Anyway, thanks for all you do for the aviation community and enthusiasts. I hope you have hugs and love to all of you. Oh, thank you. he sent us some hugs.
Except he didn't have hugs for me, did
Well,
he?
but now he's been very inclusive at the very end of it, all of you.
Right.
Okay.
That includes you. And
Good
Nick
recovery.
Camacho and everybody else. AirVenture, Whitman Field, during the what is generally referred to as Oshkosh every year, they have a couple of simultaneous, and actually one of the taxiways I believe they also use for as a runway when they're bringing people in, and I'm not sure about when people are leaving AirVenture, but I know coming in they have 2 and sometimes 3 different runways for landing. I could be wrong about that. Somebody in the chat maybe correct me there if I'm wrong, but I know at least 2 runways, and each of these runways are reasonably reasonably long runways for general aviation, and they basically segment the runways into segments, and they put spots they paint different colored spots on the runways. And so when people are coming in, it's not unusual to have, 2 or 3 airplanes landing almost simultaneously, and they're all aiming for a different point to land on the runways. And knowing that they're not going to have really long landing rollouts, they can do that. And as far as spacing is concerned and wake turbulence, I guess the amount of wake that is coming off of a general aviation airplane is not very significant as compared to military and civilian aviation, airliners and that kind of thing. So they can get away with, you can get into some wake turbulence. You got to know where that wake is going to be. And, even though you can't see it, you have to kind of imagine where it's going to be, and you have to be careful. But so that's how they're able to do it. It's just very tight spacing in flight and on runway, and using several different spots on the runway to land on. And it, of course, relies considerably on the skills of the pilots to make sure that when they're told to land on the orange dot or the green dot or whatever dot, that they actually do land on that particular dot, because it's very important to keep everything flowing.
So, Jeff, you've never even flown in as a passenger there on a
I have
GA
not
plane,
flown.
no?
I know I have never flown into Oshkosh as a passenger. The closest I've gotten is at Sun and Fun. I was a passenger in AJ's flying club airplane, the 206, and they have kind of a version of what they do at Oshkosh. It's definitely to a much smaller scale. But they did instruct AJ to land on a certain spot on the runway, and but that's my only experience with that, Liz. I've not experienced the full thing. No. What else? Anything that you want to add or anything, Captain Nick, to that? And I kind of wish that we had some of the hosts on the show that have a lot of experience flying into and out of AirVenture over the years, but sadly they didn't make it today. So maybe we can address this again on a subsequent show in the future if there are any more questions about that.
All right, it's wrapping up time.
It is wrap-up time, and as always, we point you to our website, airlinepilotguy.com, where you'll find information about the crew and the community calendar. Let's see what else. We have a separate page for the old Pilot's Plain Tales and information on how you can actually subscribe to it as a separate podcast. Let's see, we have some merchandise. We have a library if you're interested in reading about or reading aviation books and such. What else, Liz? Anything I'm missing?
No, that's pretty good.
A YouTube page if you want to find and watch or get a link to our YouTube channel. That's there as well. Anyway, and we're also on social media, or what I like to call the social medias. Captain Nick, would you do the honors, please?
Absolutely, love to. If you're a fan of Facebook, and who isn't, Well, I don't know. Lots of us,
me?
I guess.
I'm not.
Exactly. Facebook.com/airline pilot guy, all one word. And if you're an ex, I don't know what you're an ex
aficionado.
of, but
I'm an ex. I have an ex.
Yeah.
You do have an ex. Exactly. Which means she's saying that you're an ex. So, yes, I suppose you are an ex.
X marks the
anyway, if you are on X, it's at APG Crew. Instas, the Instagrams, we're just APG Crew, and that's usually where you can go if you want to get a quick peek at the artwork and expand it up to try and find those hidden Easter eggs. But if you enjoy the raw sausage being squeezed out of the mincing machine, then you have to go to YouTube, because youtube.com/airline pilot guys where you can find it.
You know, I really do need to learn my lesson, Liz. I need to make a recording of Steph doing that.
Exactly. That'll teach you.
Yeah, I know. Okay. And also, we're on Slack. We have this gentleman who kind of manages that for us. His name is Hillel. Hillel, can you tell us about Slack?
Okay, but I'm dripping wet.
It's always there to tell us all about it. Here we go.
APG listeners, please join us on our Slack team. Slack is a communication, coordination, and sharing platform that works on your mobile, laptop, or browser. On Slack, we share news and ideas, we suggest episode and Plain Tales topics, we plan events and meetups. To get into the Slack team, please email me at slack@airlinepilotguy.com. That's SLACK, Sierra Lima Alpha Charlie Kilo @airlinepilotguy.com. Or send me a tweet with your preferred email address to @Hillel, and I'll send you an invitation. That's Hillel, spelled Hotel India 11 Echo 1, and see you in Slack.
Thanks a lot, Hillel. Well, have your wife do it for you. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
They're having fun again in the shower. Yeah. Oh, and we'd also like to give a big thanks to our producer, curator, Liz. Liz Piper. Busy before the show, after the show, and during the show. So thank you very much for everything that you do. It is priceless.
My pleasure.
And costless. And also, we'd like to thank our live audience. We don't pay them either. They come here every week and lend their knowledge and expertise in comedy to our live recording. So you should check it out sometime if you have the time. Follow us on the social medias, and then you can join the wonderful people in our chat room every week. And I guess that's going to do it for today's show. So thank you, everybody, for listening, and tell your friends about us. And we're going to say, wishing you clear skies, unlimited visibility, and tailwinds. Take care, and God bless.
Just off for now.
See you next time.
Yeah, he's up in the sky. It's the airline pilot guy.
Good day.
I used to be such a good pilot till I started APG. I opened doors for little old ladies. I helped them to their seats. Airline pilot guy, I fly America. Oh, airline pilot guy, he can land in heavy fog. I got no friends 'cause I'm always flying. I just don't have the time. But I can land this old plane. I can land it just fine. Airline pilot guy, I fly